think he'll come back.
Halloween, the night he came home. Rated R.
Welcome back to the 31 Days of Spooks. My name is Dylan Goebel, and today we're talking about the original Halloween, released in 1978. The film was directed by John Carpenter, and it stars Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasence. Of course, everybody knows the plot of Halloween by now. There's a serial killer named Michael Myers. He killed his sister when he was 6 years old, and now, in present day, when this movie came out anyways, Michael returns to Haddonfield and starts targeting babysitters. Alright, Halloween. Not exactly the original slasher film, but this is the one that really gave birth to that slasher formula that we know today. Of course, it's John Carpenter, and John Carpenter is one of the greatest horror filmmakers of all time. Alright, Halloween, what do I think of it? How does it rank among John Carpenter's other horror films? Alright, I'm about to get some heat for this. I do like the movie, don't get me wrong. I do think the original Halloween is a tad overrated, though. Yeah, that's right, get the pitchforks and torches out, come at me. Yes, this movie gets a lot of shit right. But there's other things that keep this movie from being truly great, in my opinion. And plus, I know some people think this is the end-all be-all of horror films. John Carpenter has made better horror films than this. Let's not kid ourselves, okay? The Thing, from 1982. He directed that. Of course, everybody knows that. That is a better movie than this. Way better. Sorry. But anyways, what does Halloween get right, in my opinion? There's a lot of suspense in this movie, a lot of tension. Donald Pleasence is fantastic in this movie as Dr. Loomis. Jamie Lee Curtis makes a good fucking final girl. I like Michael Myers whenever he's on screen. This movie's opening scene really sets the mood for this movie, and the movie does pay off greatly in the end with a fantastic final act. But that being said, this movie's kills kind of suck. There's one good kill in this movie. All the rest are like, wow, this is what everybody loves this movie for. The kills in this movie are not creative. There's no gore to speak of in this movie. But then there's other slasher movies that have no gore in them whatsoever, but the kills still end up being fantastic. Like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. That's another movie that had zero gore. But the kills, they just had a bit more spice to them, if you know what I mean. Like the first kill in the movie when Leatherface knocks that guy in the head. He falls to the ground and he starts twitching. It looked really realistic. That's the kind of shit I'm talking about, how you can pull off a kill with no gore. This movie, however, it's just stab, stab, strangle. That's it. Ooh, so brutal. And then there's this other issue I have with this movie, and it's the same issue I had with the original Friday the 13th. The pacing. Now, I don't mind slow burn horror. Like The Shining, for example. Slow as fuck, but still intriguing all the way through. Because I love the story in The Shining. I think it's endlessly compelling. This movie has long stretches of scenes where nothing's happening. There's scenes where it's not really trying to set any mood. You're just showing people talking, and that's it. Or just long shots of people driving. You know, I do like this movie, especially for all the horror scenes that get everything right. But I do think this movie could have benefited from having a few scenes greatly trimmed. There's just so many scenes that just drag on for far too long. That's the same problem I had with the original Friday the 13th, and that's a movie I enjoy too, but when it comes to like the earliest installments to these great iconic franchises, particularly Halloween and the original Friday the 13th, yeah, there's just so many scenes in both of these movies where you could just kind of just trim the fat off of them, and the movie would have moved a lot more smoothly. But yeah, for everything I can bitch about this movie for, there's a lot of things I do enjoy about the movie. Like yeah, the horror aspects. When this movie decides to build tension, it builds it fantastically, and at least there's payoff in the end. And then of course, yeah, Michael, he's menacing. You can you feel his presence whenever he's on screen. Too bad he's not a very creative horror movie slasher, but yeah, he's menacing. You feel his presence on screen, and the guy who plays Michael does a great job. You got a great performance from Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald Pleasance, but those are really the only two good performers in this movie. But yeah, that's all you really need from this movie anyway, because every other character that shows up are pretty much just here to die, more or less. I like this movie's 70s vibe, and I really like this movie's festive feeling too. Like, this movie really takes advantage of its Halloween setting. It just feels like such a great movie to watch during the Halloween season because it just embraces the holiday so wonderfully that yeah, it just has just the perfect vibe to watch around this time of year. So in the end, how the original Halloween, while a tad overrated in my opinion, I do think is an enjoyable movie for a spooky season. It's got the vibe, it embraces the holiday so beautifully. You got two great performances here. It sets tension very well when it wants to. But yeah, it's just that there's a pacing problem and the kills aren't really that great in my opinion, but it became iconic for a reason, and this is a good start to a franchise overall. And yeah, when I'll be reviewing all of the rest of the franchise within the span of a couple years, because next year I'm reviewing the Rob Zombie movies. The year after, I'm reviewing all of the sequels before the Rob Zombie movies. But yeah, look forward to my reviews of 2018 Kills and Ends later on this year. But yeah, overall, I do enjoy Halloween. It's just not, I just don't love it like a lot of other people do. I am going to give the original Halloween a B.